In these difficult economic times, the fight against hunger has never been greater. Second Harvest Food Bank directly supports hundreds of organizations that are serving the hungry on a daily basis. Here to explain how is Vice President for Development, Greg Higgerson of the Central Florida branch. Welcome to our show, Greg.
Thanks, great to be here.
Pleasure to have you. Now, exactly how is Second Harvest being able to support so many organizations?
Well, as a food bank organization, our job is really to work with all of the different providers out there, whether it be food companies, manufacturers, wholesalers, retailers, as well as the general public, to get that extra food that exists in our society and make it available in the most cost-efficient way possible to feeding programs that we have in our community, that safety net of organizations that are out there that people can turn to when they need help.
Now, what do you mean by extra food?
Well, in America, we actually produce far more food than we consume as a population. A lot of it goes to waste. So a lot of times that has to do with things like not being the right size or the right color. We can be very choosy as consumers, and things like test marketing and discontinued items and things like that. So there really is a lot of waste. In fact, it's estimated over 100 billion pounds of food a year in America. It never reaches the table of a consumer. And at the same time, we have literally millions of people across the country, and in Central Florida, nearly 750,000 people who are struggling to put enough food on their table and figure out where their meals are going to come from.
So it sounds like you're not just using traditional means of canned goods and dry food goods, but other non-traditional ways. Can you explain a little bit about what those are?
Yeah, absolutely. The non-perishable foods that people give to food drives and so forth are what a lot of us think of when we think about food assistance. But the truth is, low-income families have lots of other needs as well, especially around fresh products. And thankfully, more of those fresh products are available to us than ever before. And so we operate a fleet of 19 trucks in Central Florida that pick up from retail store locations, grocery store locations, as well as agricultural interests, farmers and so on, to get their extra food out of the fields and so on.
So you've told us how you get the food to the Central Food Bank. Now, how do you get that out to those struggling families that need that food?
Yeah, we're really lucky to be able to support an existing network of about 500 other nonprofits that have feeding as at least part of their mission. It includes all the big names that people have probably heard of when they think of feeding in the community, and lots of smaller ones that don't necessarily get the limelight because they're maybe attached to a church or something like that is a little bit smaller, but they're still helping lots of people in their area, in their neighborhood.
Now, having food is just one of those obstacles. I think it's also having a nutritional food. Now, what are you doing to make sure that you're providing this nutritional food to the individuals and families in need?
Well, low-income families are really challenged around nutrition, especially because their mindset really is all about when they're in the grocery store, providing the most calories for the buck, okay? Because they walk in there with less than a lot of us do. And so they're going for the high starch, high calorie type things rather than the nutritious stuff, which costs a lot and doesn't give quite as much calories. So part of it is an education process to get them to know what to do with fresh fruits and vegetables when they get them through us or through some other means, and how to prepare those in ways that they will enjoy and that they'll like and that their families will enjoy. But also, the other challenge on that is they have to be able to afford those things when they go to the grocery store.
Now, with our viewers at home, how can they directly help support Second Harvest or other food banks like this in making hunger go away?
Sure, there are some great food banks across Florida that do exactly what we do, and no matter where you live in the state, if you can find your local Feeding America affiliated food bank, the main ways to help are to give food through community food drives or to volunteer your time. And certainly we all need money to operate, so the old no money, no mission.
Greg, I'm going to have to cut you off there, but thank you so much. This has been Derek Cooper with Newsmakers. We appreciate it. Thank you and have a great day.